Okay. Hi, Ms. Geyer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Miss Smith?
good.
Good.
I'm good. So last week we set the goal of you implementing the 5-day close reading strategies.
Yes.
I noticed that you had met this goal by successfully diving into each component that close reading entails.
Yes.
What made you so successful with this lesson?
I feel that the students just really got the opportunity to dive deep into a text. There's a lot of times where we'll read a text and it just comes and goes out of our hand and we don't get to really dissect it. And this really gave the students the opportunity to dive really deep, and then they were able to look through a lens. Like there's that part of them looking through a lens and reading it a different way. And I've never done that before with my students, and they took that and they were like successful doing it. It was really cool to see all levels in my classroom finding it for a specific way.
Good. So what I hear you saying is that by having the students really dive into the text, that they were able to grasp more of it and have a better understanding of it.
Absolutely.
Very good. So let's take a look at the rubric of the 5-day close reading that I had completed through the observation.
Okay.
And just tell me some of the things. What do you notice from that rubric?
I like that I'm doing a lot of things on here. But the one thing that's standing out to me that shows that it wasn't evident is about the standards being posted. That shows that they weren't evident there.
So what are some of the next steps that you could do, or what do you recall what was posted? What did it say?
Yeah, I remember it being something real broad. It was very like, we will use Scholastic News, and it was called Inside a Volcano. And I think I wrote something that said, we will read a nonfiction text inside a volcano, rather than saying something else.
So how could you how could you post that differently for the students to have a better understanding of those objectives?
I guess it needs to be in kid-friendly language, and I did make it very broad. I think that was one of the days that I just rushed up there and said we're reading nonfiction. But I know in the past me and you have talked about making it kid-friendly, and you were telling me once just to focus on the skill. And so what I need to do is say that we will, understand main idea in detail using nonfiction text. So then that way they're understanding like what skill we're working on, so that way they can hone in on that.
Perfect. How can the students take ownership in knowing what the objective is? What are some things that you can do to help them with that objective?
Prep them for it. Like let them know that this is what we're working on, and we'll use our body movements and we'll use all these strategies to get there, and give them those graphic organizers, and just let them know that that's what they're working on so they can focus on it.
Very good. So that could possibly be one of our next steps that we work on.
Let me put that down because I'll forget. Post objective. Okay.
Okay. So let's take a look at the day 4. What do you notice on your day 4? You had the students rewrite the anchor chart. What did you notice about the students when they had to rewrite the anchor chart?
That was a disaster that day, I felt, and I know we successfully went through it in a way. But what happened was I'm so used to using Smartboard that we put it on the Smartboard, I saved it in the computer, and then as usual technology took over and it didn't bring it back up. And so the kids didn't have that like base to look on and say, oh, we said this and we said this like 3 days ago. And they had to like use their memory to recall it. And I couldn't remember everything. They didn't remember everything. And so we were kind of at a stuck position just using little things here and there, so it wasn't as deep as it should have been.
So how do you feel that we can help the students? We know that stuff's going to happen. We know we're going to have technology issues. What are some things that we can do to really help the students with that?
Yeah, that's one thing I struggle with, because I always come to you for that, and you're always really good about, helping me with that. So I always think, I always say, hey kids, what was it? But there's always like that missing thing, and I don't give them that full opportunity, so I'm not really sure. I don't know.
How about, I noticed that because your class is so active and they're always so engaged, that how about using some of the Kagan strategies during that time? So like the think, pair, share, the hands up, stand up, pair up, share up. I have that.
I've lost my copy.
That template right here. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to make a copy of that.
I would love to, because I forget about these all the time, and that would work for them, actually.
Implement.
Let me put this away. Good, let me write that down, because we're going to need to remember Kagan strategies. And that's such a good one, and I always pass that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so based on, I hear you saying that you really want to work on that, having that objective posted and a little bit more specific.
Yes.
Try some of the Kagan strategies. So this will be our next steps.
Yes.
For your next closed reading.
Yeah, I would love to see them try some of those Kagan strategies with the next close reading.
What is your plan for your next activity?
Next week we're going to be doing another Scholastic News because we're trying to dive into nonfiction text.
Okay.
And we'll be using an article. I think it's called "Would You Run for President?"
Okay. Okay. I would really like to follow up
Yes.
and check in on those identified needs.
Please.
What would be a good time for you?
We start on Monday, and our shared reading block is at 10:30. So if
Okay.
you're free, I'd love to have you
Okay.
in.
So Monday at 10:30.
That's perfect. Thank you for your
All
help.
right.
This is big.
Thank you, Ms. Geyer.
All right,
Thank
see you
you.
later.